Psych. Hello, I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and Jack is not at the zoo. In fact, Jack unfortunately can't visit the zoo anymore. He has recently been banned from all public transport for reasons that I'm not going to discuss on this video, so he is forced to go now to the local aquarium, and he text messaged me via SMS earlier to say that the animals aren't as good and most of them can't even walk. Anyway, you're stuck with me. This is Wrestlers of the Week. Now, Jack has been kind enough to send me his list of Wrestlers of the Week. These aren't my choices, they're not all Mojo Rawley, so there are some honourable mentions. Then, of course, we're going to run down the top 10, and then we're going to go over the league tables. You know how it works. Let's get straight into it. Take this off. First of the honourable mentions is Hideo Itami, who was part of a match that we're going to discuss in more details on the list itself. Next on the honourable mentions is Chris Sabin, who was very slick indeed on the Ring of Honor TV midweek. In fact, Jack sent some notes here. He says, I heart, with the little arrow and the 3, the Motor City Machine Guns. They are one of my favourite tag teams of all time, and I wish they were my friends, actually. I think they'd be a right laugh in the arcades and know some good tricks with the 2P machines. They just seem like those sort of guys. I used to work in an arcade, genuinely, and there are no tricks to the 2P machines. In fact, the only trick that I can think of is shaking the 2P machine to make the coins drop, and that is theft. That is a crime. If you did that in my arcade, you would be barred, like Jack is barred from all local bus services. Next honourable mention is Nick Jackson, of course one half of the Young Bucks. Now, the Young Bucks storytelling is absolutely terrific at the moment. So Nick did most of the work in their match this week because Matt's back is getting gradually weaker and weaker. Nick had to help Matt lift their opponent into position for the Meltzer driver. Good storytelling and good moves. And the final honourable mention is David Finlay, son, of course, of Fit Finlay, who continues to build momentum over in New Japan as he builds to his title match with Jay White. A hell of a wrestler. Let's get into the top 10. Number 10, don't know why I'm doing that. Number 10 is Cody Rhodes, who had a really interesting first blood match with Matt Taven at the Ring of Honor show, Masters of the Craft. This feud is centered around Cody's ring, which Matt Taven really wants. Don't we all want a bit of Cody's ring? There was some really good stuff in this match. At one point, Cody went for a senton onto a table but missed and landed bottom first, as Jack puts it there. Great fun. The finish itself was a unique one, as Cody went to hit Matt with his ringed finger, only for Matt to block it with the belt, and Cody then cut his hand open. This is, of course, a first blood match, which resulted in Cody losing. A unique finisher, as I say, something that I've certainly never seen before. Interesting, and yeah, it was a fun match. Number 9, Matt Taven, or King Matt Taven as he is known. And unlike a lot of kings we know, Matt Taven is an awful, immoral person. He is a newcomer to the Wrestlers of the Week list, and he wrestles in a deranged, sadistic kind of limb-flaily way. A man after my own heart. Also, at one point in the match, he hit Cody with a roll of quarters, which is so NWA. Just lovely. Matt Taven is this guy with a unique charisma. There's something about him which is incredibly captivating to watch. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him, kid, and that's coming from the former general manager of what? Number 8, Akira Tozawa. Now, Akira this week was on the losing side of the 205 main event, which was really spectacular, and he reminded us why he's honestly one of the best pure workers in WWE today. I had a lot of people tweeting me asking if I'd seen this as soon as it happened, and quite often I don't see 205 Live straight away, or I'll skim through it. That's an awful thing to admit, but I went and watched this back, and goodness me, what a talented guy. Both of them. Tozawa wrestles in a very modern way, mixing daredevil high spots with super loud strikes, which was somewhat awkward when nobody really popped for 205 Live shows, but now they do, so it's okay. Number 7, Killian Dane. Now that Sanity are off to SmackDown, of course, on Tuesday they were announced as joining the Blue brand, except for Nikki Cross. Poor Nikki. Hopefully they've got big plans for her down in NXT before she is called up. And, you know, fingers crossed she joins Sanity once again, because she was just such a great fit. She was brilliant. Anyway, this was Dane's send-off match for NXT before he does progress to the main roster in a match with Lars Sullivan, a battle of the monstrous men. He made Lars look really fantastic in this match. It's well worth seeing if you haven't done so already. And Jack's notes on this are particularly interesting. Dane was busted open at one stage and became a little bit of a mucky puppy with blood in his beard. I'm glad he specified that. It added to the story of the match and made Sullivan look all the more scary for eventually stopping him. I mean, the second part of Jack's point there was terrific. Mucky puppy. Number 6 is Jack's favourite cruiserweight, and I promised him that I was going to read this word for word, so excuse me for looking back at Jack's notes once again, but this is Jack's boy, so... Number 6, Lincei Dorado. Lincei Dorado is a hot piece of he didn't say that. I cannot believe my luck that Lincei Dorado has decided to have some excellent 205 live matches since Wrestlers of the Week became a thing. He was a fantastic babyface in peril here. Tozawa and Itami went for his mask at one point. How dare they? Jack's words. He also pulled off one of the best ring step bumps I've seen in years, jackknifing over the top of them upon contact. Picked up the win with a shooting star press, hit in tandem with the finisher of his partner. It was a really, really terrific match, and Jack is right to love Lincei Dorado. I do think he's one of the more underrated guys on 205 Live. Fair play to Jack, and how many points is that? 4 points! It's 4 points. 4 points to Jack's boy, Lincei Dorado. Number 5, Gran Metalik, who of course teamed with Lincei Dorado to take on Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa. This was one of those multi-man matches where you notice that one specific performer is in the zone. Like, they all looked really good, but Gran Metalik stood out to me by a mile and reminded us why he almost won the Cruiserweight Classic. He hit everything perfectly and with emphasis. Jack's notes are especially mental on this one. He mentions, he also looked taller than usual somehow. I don't understand. Unless they stuck Kota Ibushi under his mask, and that's why everything looked so crisp and brutal. Jack the Jobber, 2018. Number 4 is David Starr, who this week won CZW's Best of the Best tournament, which, according to Jack, makes him 4th best of the best. Starr has been great in tournaments this year, coming 2nd in WXW's 16 Karat Gold, and now defeating Zachary Wentz to win this event. He also won a semi-final consisting of Matt Riddle and Tessa Blanchard, which should tell you that CZW isn't about hitting each other with light tubes and gardening equipment. Most of the time. I mean, sometimes it still is, but not always. Well done, David Starr. Number 3 is Jeff Hardy. That's my Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy this week became a Grand Slam champion, so huge congratulations, Jeff. He of course defeated Jinder Mahal on this Monday's episode of Raw, winning the US title in the process. Jinder Mahal, by the way, is not on this list. I don't know if he has been yet, but he is not on this week's list. He is the only person alongside Chris Jericho to complete both the old and new WWE Grand Slam champion format, which is great, and he probably needs a nice little sit down, but not just yet, because on Tuesday night he made his SmackDown cross. He crossed the line. He crossed the line to WWE SmackDown and took that title belt with him. I don't know what Kurt Angle was thinking when he booked that match. Like, did him and Paige talk? Did they know who was swapping sides? And if so, why would he give Jeff a US title only for Jeff to take? I'm thinking too much into this. Jeff, Grand Slam champion. It's a huge accomplishment. They probably gave it to him because he looks really cool and he's aged like, I don't know, is he 57, 64, 70, and he's still cooler than I'll ever be. Nice hair, Number 2 is Jonathan Gresham. We now move on to the winner of the CZW Best of the Best tournament 2 years ago. I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about Jonathan Gresham. I've watched this match and he very much deserves his place on this list, but I'm going to read Jack's notes here because, you know, I'm not going to lie, I'm unfamiliar with him. Jack says he has quietly emerged as one of the best wrestlers in Ring of Honor recently. At Masters of the Craft, he had the best match of the week and should be in line for some sort of title run soon, having never held gold in the promotion before. He's also 5'4", which, fun fact, is an entire foot shorter than your stand-in host and future Ring of Honor television champion Adam Pacitti. I do like Jack. Good guy. Number 1, Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal, to me, is one of the most underappreciated, elite, professional wrestlers in the world today. And I consider him a close personal friend. In fact, I've shared a fairly lengthy train journey with Jay Lethal. We had a good chat. He was playing his Nintendo DS while I was listening to Simon and Garfunkel in my earphones. In fact, at one point, we had been quiet for maybe 30 minutes, just sat there enjoying our own company. And then Jay tapped me on the shoulder and I lifted my earphone. I went, "Hey Jay, how's it going?" And he went, "Hey Adam," because he speaks like that. I was like, "Yeah, hey Jay, what's up? What do you think will happen when Hulk Hogan dies?" And I didn't know what to say. Like, I just went, "I don't know, Jay." And then he just put his earphones back in, I put mine back in, and we enjoyed the rest of the journey. Am I allowed to tell that story? I think I'm allowed to tell that story. Jay Lethal is one of the best promo guys on the planet, but also one of the best wrestlers on the planet. I think Jay Lethal is terrific. Anyway, although Gresham really did impress, Jay Lethal won the match with a well-timed roll-up. You know, I was worried that Jay Lethal might never be signed to NXT, but I googled him before I came in the studio. And Jay Lethal is only 32 years old, so there's there's plenty of time for Jay, if that's what he wants to do, to make his way to NXT, where he would flourish, because he's fantastic. And with that, Jay Lethal, 10 points coming your way. 10 virtual points, you lucky devil. I've also just realised that means he was 20 when he turned up in TNA all those years ago. Imagine being that talented. I get why Jack likes doing this show. Just talking about really great wrestlers all the time. Anyway, should we take a look at the league table? Very little changes at the top of the table this week, with Cody Rhodes just sneaking into the top 10. Shockingly, neither Ospreay nor Zack Sabre Jr. made it onto the table this time, perhaps proving that Jack isn't actually biased at all. In unrelated news, I'm sure Jack would like to wish Lincei Dorado all the very best of luck in his inevitable march towards Wrestlers of the Week glory. So that is it from Wrestlers of the Week. I hope you have enjoyed the show. I know it's not the same. But I hope I've done an okay job. Jack is away for a few more days, so you've actually got me standing in on the Cultaholic podcast as well. That goes out a little bit later today. Or if you're watching it tomorrow, it went out yesterday. Just use search, just in the search bar above. Anyway, I'm off to take some public transport because, unlike some people, I'm not banned. See you soon.